We're asked to plot each angle given in radians in standard position, and then also convert the angle to degrees. When first learning about radians, it might seem more comfortable to always convert back to degrees. It's kind of like when first learning a foreign language. However, with time, hopefully you'll become more comfortable with radians and be able to think of angles both in radians and degrees. To begin, 180 degrees is equal to pi radians, which means 360 degrees equals 2 pi radians. I've also listed some common angles in radians on the right. Pi divided by 2 radians, or 1/2 pi radians, equals 90 degrees. Pi divided by 3 radians, or 1/3 pi radians, equals 60 degrees. Pi divided by 4 radians, or 1/4 pi radians, equals 45 degrees. And pi divided by 6 radians, or 1/6 pi radians, equals 30 degrees. It's important to recognize these common angles in both radians and degrees. When an angle is in standard position, the initial side is along the positive x-axis. If the angle is positive, the rotation is counterclockwise. If the angle is negative, the rotation is clockwise. To begin, we have pi divided by 3 radians, or 1/3 pi radians. In standard position, the initial side is along the positive x-axis. And now we rotate counterclockwise. Pi divided by 3 radians, or 1/3 pi radians, which we know from below, equals 60 degrees. This indicates the terminal side would be approximately here. We're approximating these angles. We're not using a protractor, but this would be the terminal side for 60 degrees. For pi divided by 3 radians, or 1/3 pi radians, which we know from below, equals 60 degrees. Normally when converting from radians to degrees, we multiply by 180 degrees divided by pi. Let's also show that work. We would have pi divided by 3 times 180 degrees divided by pi. Notice pi divided by pi simplifies to 1, leaving us with 180 degrees divided by 3, which is 60 degrees, or simplifying before multiplying, there's 1 3 and 3, 60 3s and 180. 180 degrees simplifies to 60 degrees, leaving us with 1 times 60 degrees, which of course is 60 degrees. Next we have 5 pi divided by 4 radians, or 5/4 pi radians. Because pi divided by 4 radians, or 1/4 pi radians, equals 45 degrees, let's count by 1/4 pi radians to plot the angle in standard position. The initial side is along the positive x-axis. Rotating counterclockwise, we have 1/4 pi radians, 2/4 pi radians, or pi divided by 2 radians, 3/4 pi radians, 4/4 pi radians, and finally 5/4 pi radians. This is the terminal side for 5/4 pi radians, which you may recognize as 45 degrees times 5, or 225 degrees. But again, we'll go ahead and show this work. To convert 5 pi divided by 4 radians to degrees, again we multiply by 180 degrees divided by pi. Pi divided by pi simplifies to 1. 4 and 180 share a common factor of 4. There's 1 4 and 4. 45 4s and 180. 180 degrees simplifies to 45 degrees. And notice we do get 5 times 45 degrees, which equals 225 degrees. Next we have 3 pi divided by 2 radians, or 3/2 pi radians. Because pi divided by 2 radians equals 90 degrees, we'll count by 1/2 pi radians to plot the angle in standard position. The initial side is along the positive x-axis, and now rotating counterclockwise by 1/2 pi radians, or 90 degrees, we have 1/2 pi radians, 2/2 pi radians, and 3/2 pi radians. And we should recognize 3 pi divided by 2 radians equals 270 degrees. But again, we'll go ahead and show the work. We have 3 pi divided by 2 times 180 degrees divided by pi. Simplifying, pi divided by pi simplifies to 1. There's 1, 2, and 2. 92s and 180. 180 degrees simplifies to 90 degrees. And notice we're left with 3 times 90 degrees, which is 270 degrees. This last one's a little more involved. We have 37 pi divided by 20 radians. Notice 40 pi divided by 20 radians would be 2 pi radians, or 1 full rotation counterclockwise, which means this angle is going to be a little short of 1 full rotation counterclockwise. For this example, let's first convert to degrees. Pi divided by pi simplifies to 1. There's 1, 20, and 20, and 9 20s and 180. 180 simplifies to 9 degrees. We're left with 37 times 9 degrees, which is 333 degrees. The initial side is along the positive x-axis, and then rotating counterclockwise will rotate 27 degrees short of 1 full rotation counterclockwise, or 3 pi divided by 20 radians short of 1 full rotation counterclockwise. So we'll say the terminal side is approximately here. I hope you found this helpful.